I would love to ask you about feminism and feminist movement, which that time just came up.
Right.
To what extent that gave impact to you?
It was major. It was really major. I felt like my head was split open, really. And I began to have a language for, I mean, my father was always kind of the rock that I beat my head against, you know. So he was the example of what I wanted to turn away from. But I remember very clearly when I began to hear the voices of women talking about the kind of limitations that we found ourselves in and the prospect of breaking free of those limitations. So in the late 70s, I was living back in New Haven. I had a large community of friends who were doing all kinds of innovative things on many levels. And I decided that I wanted to leave the city and move to the country. And I was part of a women's group at that time, and I had taken a trip to the mountains in New Hampshire. And it came to me very clearly. I said, I want to move. So I came to a meeting of my women's group. I said, I want to move to the country. Who wants to go with me? And several women said, yeah. So we immediately coalesced this group of women who decided that we were going to look for land in the country. And we were dreamers to the extent that we said, we're going to build our own houses. I had no experience of this. My father had a hammer, maybe. You know, I never looked in that direction. That was part of the opening for me. The point was to do something that I hadn't been trained to do. The point was to take on something new for me and broaden myself. You know, I could read novels and think about literary criticism all day long, but what about this? What if I took a hammer and a saw and I built my own house? Wow! In fact, I have a photograph somewhere of my father when he came to see the house that I was building. And the look on his face is priceless. It's like, where did this come from? You know, and there was some pride in it, I have to say, on his part. It was kind of amazing. But for me, it was really hard work because I was taking on something that I knew nothing about. 3 of us in our group was called the Land Band, and we went to a owner-builder school in Maine, where I literally learned that to build a house, you start with a foundation. I didn't know anything. I built a house. And a beautiful, beautiful house that's still standing in Maine on the land that I own. So that was, that's part of the excitement of that time was, I can do this now. You know, I can learn how to do this. I can learn how to work with a collective of women who were trying to do things that they didn't know how to do. So there was a lot of tension in that, you know. But we managed beautifully. We really did. I'm very proud of what we did. We were a strong, cohesive, productive collective for 10 years, and that's amazing.